Several people believe that you need a lot of qualifications to work in the UK. Some even believe that you need at minimum a bachelor's degree. This is not true at all. Remember, the UK recruits both skilled and unskilled laborers. And today I'm going to talk about a different kind of visa that allows you to work in the UK temporarily, 6 months at a time. And this visa requires little to no training or experience. The visa I'm talking about is the UK Seasonal Worker Visa. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube. Some are good, some are not so good. And what I've discovered is majority of the videos only scratch the surface and really do not provide any specific information about the application process. So you find that in countries like Kenya, where several people applied in 2023, only 95 people were successful in getting the visa. So this is a problem, okay? So what we are going to do today is to cover in detail an overview of the seasonal worker visa. I'm also going to talk about the eligibility requirements in depth. And I'll talk about the documents that you must provide and also cover the UK government approved recruiters and sponsors. So if you watch the video until the end, I'm going to have a bonus for you as well. My name is Valentina Ndolo and I'm the director of Havina Immigration Solutions, where we provide immigration advice to people who are looking to move out of African countries like Kenya into the UK, and also those who are looking to move from different countries around the world into Kenya. I'm going to leave the contact details and the website URL in the description box. Have a look and let us know how we can help you. And also, if you need in-depth advice, remember to book a consultation with us. So let's talk about the UK Seasonal Worker Visa. For the Seasonal Worker Visa, you can apply for this visa to come to the UK to work in horticulture for up to 6 months. And horticulture jobs include jobs like picking fruit, vegetables, or flowers. You can also work in poultry, but for the poultry jobs, you have to work from the 2nd of October up to the 31st of December every year. And for poultry jobs, you have to apply by the 15th of November. But for horticulture jobs, you can apply any time of the year. So again, remember, you'll need to meet the other eligibility requirements. We'll talk about this in detail. You also have to provide mandatory documents, and you have to have a government-approved sponsor. You must go through a government-approved sponsor or recruiter. So how long does it take? Once you have applied online, proved your identity, and provided your documents, you'll usually get a decision on your visa within 3 weeks. And how much does it cost? Well, the application fee is £298. So just convert this into your local currency. So you must really budget well. And remember, you shouldn't budget after you've gotten the job. So already, if you're looking to apply for the seasonal worker visa, you should have in mind the costs that are associated with it. And the visa fee, you should have the visa fee ready by the time you're starting your application, or at least have in mind where you can get it if you're offered a job. And it's not just the visa fee that you should be thinking about. You should also think about the cost of flight and the cost of some maintenance money. Aside from that, if you don't have a passport by now and you're watching this video, please go get a passport immediately. All right, so how long can you stay? You can stay in the UK up to 6 months for the horticulture work, and from 2nd October to 31st December each year for the poultry work. What can you do? What can't you do? So remember, you can work in the job that is described in your certificate of sponsorship, and I'll talk about what this is. And you can also study if you'd like. If you have enough time to study within the 6 months, you can. But what you cannot do, you cannot take a permanent job. This is a temporary job and you're not allowed to take a permanent job while you are on this visa. You can also not work a second job or a job that isn't described in your certificate of sponsorship. So if that job is not described in your certificate of sponsorship, you can't work at that second job. You can also not get public funds, so you're not entitled to public funds. These are funds like childcare funds or maybe council housing, so public benefits in general. You won't be able to get those. And also you can't bring your family members with you. And also just think about it, it's 6 months. So it's a big sacrifice to make, being away from your family for 6 months, but you have to think about the priorities. Your priorities in terms of why do you really want to take advantage of this opportunity. All right. So let's talk about the eligibility requirements. So number one, you must be 18 or over when you're applying. And number two, you have to have a certificate of sponsorship reference number, okay, from your UK sponsor. And this certificate of sponsorship, when you're given, the moment you're given this COS, certificate of sponsorship, it's valid for 3 months. So the moment you're given this COS, you must make your application within 3 months. That means that you must apply for your visa immediately and don't exceed the 3 months waiting before you apply for your visa, because if you apply for your visa after 3 months, you will not be able to use that certificate of sponsorship reference number. Okay, this is why I emphasize the importance of budgeting even before you start your application, because you might be called for the job and then is when you want to scamper around looking for money. Okay, so you bear that in mind, that this is valid for 3 months. And you also need to have enough money to support yourself in the UK. So you usually need to have about £1,270 available to you. Okay, convert this into your local currency. Unless, of course, you are exempt. So you'll need to have the money available for at least 28 days in a row. So if, let's say, you want to apply for this visa and you don't have this money in your bank account, but all of a sudden maybe someone loans you this money or you get access to £1,270, you put it into their bank account and then the next day you print out your statement and go with it to the visa application, the visa will be refused. Why? Because the bank account is showing that you had the £1,270 for only 1 or 2 days. So remember, it should be in your bank account for 28 days. Don't even skip one single day. So every single day on your statement, it should show that you had £1,270 available. And remember, there's this mistake that people make. You go and calculate £1,270 in your local currency. Let's say Kenya shillings, it is 200,000 Kenya shillings or 210,000 Kenya shillings. Then you take 210,000 Kenya shillings you put in your account, forgetting that the rate of the pound changes every day. Currency exchange rates change every day. So if the pound increases in value, for example, your 200,000 will no longer be £1,270. Okay? So keep that in mind. I would advise, if you are keeping funds in your account, open a pound account. Go to a bank. Most banks have foreign currency account. Open an account that is in pounds, and then let the bank save for you your money in pounds. Don't save it in Kenya shillings. This is also a trick. Okay? Save your money in pounds such that even if the currency exchange rates fluctuate, your money will still be in pounds, so it doesn't really matter. So remember that day 28 must be within 31 days of applying for this visa. Okay? So that means that you've put your money in the account for 28 days. And once you go and print your bank statement, that bank statement must be used within 31 days. If 31 days elapse after you printed your bank statement, it's no longer valid, okay? So day 28 must be within the 31 days of applying for the visa. Print your bank statement when you're ready to go and apply for the visa. And then again, remember, if your sponsor can support you instead, your certificate of sponsorship must confirm this. Okay, so that means if your sponsor says that they can give you maintenance money, then you don't need to have £1,270 in your account. All you need to do is to make sure that your sponsor will need to complete the part that says sponsor certifies maintenance. So they need to complete that section in your certificate of sponsorship. All right, so just be aware of that.
All right, now we've had a lot of talk about money and expenses that you need to think about. Some of you are already wondering, okay, so why should I spend all that money? So let me show you something. This is Hall Hunter Partnership. This is one of the organizations that advertises seasonal work jobs. for seasonal harvest and fruit picking jobs in the UK. And you can see they've said here, they've talked about their pay and hours of work. They've said you can apply for seasonal fruit picking and harvest jobs at one of the 3 farms in the UK, and jobs are available from April to November with accommodation. So let's have a look at their wages. So seasonal workers are entitled to minimum wage in the UK, and you can see they've clearly stated that here under wages. They said that the minimum wage in the UK is £11.44 per hour from 1st of April 2024. They say our workers can earn more depending on their individual role and performance. Then they also say in 2023, the average weekly salary at Hall Hunter was £530. And overtime is also paid at a rate of £14.30 after 48 hours from 1st April 2024. They also say you'll receive a holiday pay and you'll be paid weekly. So this is, of course, minus UK taxes and national insurance. So this will be deducted before you receive your pay, and your wages go directly into your UK bank account, which they also help you to set up. So even though there are initial expenses in terms of visa costs and also flight costs, if you budget really well, you might not have to spend more than £1,500. But you see, you can easily recover that amount that you've spent within the first month of working. So if accommodation is provided in the farm, then once you work the first month, you'll be able to recover your initial expenditure or the costs for the flights and visas and other things you might have spent on in order to arrive in the UK. And for the remaining 5 months, you can just make a really decent amount that you can save and apply on a project back home. All right. Then the documents that you must provide. Remember, when you apply, again, these documents just follow whatever is outlined in your eligibility criteria. For example, you must be 18 years old and above. So by the time you're providing your valid passport, they'll be able to check your age, okay? So the first thing is you need to have a valid passport or another document that shows your identity and nationality. And remember, you shouldn't supply a passport that is already full. You need a blank page in your passport because they'll need one to put your they'll need one page where they'll stick your visa on. Okay. And then another thing you need is the certificate of sponsorship reference number. And your sponsor will give you this COS reference number. You also need evidence that you have enough personal savings to support yourself in the UK. Remember that £1,270. You need to show that using your bank statement. But remember, you might be exempt if your COS shows that your sponsor can support you. You must also provide a certified translation of any documents that are not in English or Welsh apart from your passport. And the Home Office might ask you to provide additional documents after you apply. Okay? And then the other thing is the government approved recruiters or sponsors. Remember, you must always apply through a government-approved recruiter sponsor. And currently, there are 6 operators licensed to recruit seasonal workers in the UK. These are Proforce, Concordia, Fruitful Jobs, Hops, Agri HR, and RE People Limited. Etero used to be on this list, but since last year, Etero's license was revoked. AgriHR recruits in Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. Concordia UK recruits in Lithuania, Kazakhstan, Poland, Romania, Moldova, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Ukraine, Tajikistan, South Africa, Bulgaria, and Macedonia. Fruitful Jobs recruits from Poland, Romania, Russia, Ukraine, Bulgaria, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Remember, Fruitful Jobs have specifically stated on their website they do not recruit from Pakistan, India, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, or anywhere within Africa. So if you're looking at the Fruitful Job site and you're from Africa and you apply, your chances of getting are, well, almost zero. So again, this one is the best that I want to talk about, Hops. So Hops Labor Solutions recruits from Kazakhstan, Kenya, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, North Macedonia, Tajikistan, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan. So for my Kenyan viewers, remember, if you are applying for these jobs, you need to apply through HOPS Labor Solutions. And I'll talk about, there's a small caveat here that I'll talk about later a bit. You cannot apply directly. So when you go to the HOPS recruitment page, you'll see they have an important notice there. They recruit citizens of EU member states, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, North Macedonia, Tajikistan, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan. And they say specifically they do not recruit from any other country. All right, so if you go further down, you'll see a lot about what HOPS does and how it recruits its workers. You can go on and read all this. But ideally, the interesting part you want to look at is this part. This is the seasonal worker scheme. So you can go straight into the recruitment instructions, but let's first have a look at the SWS for workers. So they talk about how they're recruiting, what the scheme is all about, the kind of work that you're supposed to do. You can see HOPS uses a system called the Gateway. And this is a software platform called the Gateway, and it's used to manage its recruitment and to place workers on the farms. So they set up a personal profile for all candidates who are selected for the interview, which gives them access to all the information they need. So again, they've said here, Gateway is free to use for all workers, and if you need help, you can contact them. HOPS restricts its recruitment to a small number of countries in order to ensure that it has the right processes and safeguards in place. Okay. And then they also emphasize that, as noted on the homepage for the 2025 season, they will be recruiting in those countries that I mentioned before. But for Kenya, they say specifically, for those who are being recruited from Kenya, they will recruit from select agricultural institutions. Okay, this is very important to note. Then if you go down here, you see they say if you'd like to apply as a new applicant and you're a citizen of one of the above mentioned states, you need to click here. So if you click there, it takes you to the recruitment instructions, and they have specific instructions for Kenyans. Okay, there's also specific instructions for those from Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and then all the other countries. Let's read for Kenya. So they say here, for the Kenyan applicants, they select from agricultural colleges. So again, those who are intending to apply directly won't be able to apply directly. It's very important to know this information. And we provide detailed guidance on how to do this during the one-on-one consultation that you book with us. All right, so they say here, Kenyan citizens who wish to apply for a place on the seasonal worker scheme must have graduated from one of our partner colleges in the past. Yeah. So if you've not graduated from the partner colleges in the past, then you will not be eligible. And then all recent graduates from those institutions will receive a registration link prior to the commencement of each HOPS recruitment round in Kenya. So if you are a graduate, most likely you've already received this link. If you haven't, you need to contact the partner college. Those who decide to apply will be required to visit the college admissions office to confirm that they did in fact complete a course of study there. And then applicants will be invited to attend an interview with a member of the HOPS team. Interviews are held at one of our affiliated colleges. Finally, successful applicants will be invited to work on one of the HOPS partner farms in the UK. Recruits will then receive assistance with their pre-departure preparations. Okay, so that's the information they have for the Kenyan applicants. Okay, so we're going to look at DEFRA, the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs. They recently published a report. This is the DEFRA report for 2024, where they reviewed the seasonal worker surveys and they reviewed the results. They published a report in 2024 where they looked at seasonal workers pilot review, and they did a survey and published the results that show us the characteristics of the people who were recruited to work in 2023, as well as their experience and all that. And we're going to look at this report. All right, so this is the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA report for 2024. It was updated last on the 21st of October 2024. And this talks about the seasonal worker survey results for 2023. So as you can see here, if you look at the introduction to the 2023 seasonal worker survey here, you can see clearly that there are 6 operators that are licensed to recruit for horticulture during 2023, and these are their names. But also here you can see Etero is mentioned, but Etero is no longer. Etero does not have a license anymore to recruit. And then let's look specifically at the respondent characteristics. So if you look at the respondent characteristics, the survey collected basic demographic information from respondents, including nationality, age, and gender. You can see Kyrgyzstan is leading. It had 4,646 applicants. And then you can also look at the other nationalities as well. You can see South Africa here had 136 workers. And then you can see Kenya is also here. Kenya had 95 workers. And then the other African country which I wanted to highlight was also Namibia. Namibia had 3 workers. So you can already see there are not many African countries represented here, there are only 3. So if you're Kenyan, take advantage of these opportunities. If you're South African, you can already see that your country is well represented here. So take advantage of these opportunities while they are still there. So let's look at the breakdown for the age. So table 3 here is showing that most respondents for the 2023 seasonal worker survey were aged between 25 and 38. In terms of gender, remember even females were working. Of course, there were more males than females. 80% of the people who were recruited in 2023 were males, less than 20% were females. So females are there, but they're fewer. So the DEFRA report for 2024 should be out soon, and I'll be able to share the results with you. All right, so now let's move to the exciting part. If you watched up to this point, of course, I want to talk about our bonus. All right, so remember the bonus we're giving you access to one-on-one consultation with us. And due to popular demand, we have also included a 20% discount for those who book the one-on-one consultations between now and the end of February 2025. So you can find the link to the consultation booking page in the description box, and I've also put the link here on the PowerPoint presentation. And during that consultation, we will cover the approved agencies that handle in-country recruitments in Kenya. We'll also cover certifications that you need to have to improve your chances of landing a job. Remember, thousands of people apply, but only very few get the jobs. And this is because most people are not aware that even though these are unskilled jobs or these jobs require unskilled laborers, there are certain certifications that can help you to improve your profile and give you a competitive advantage over the other applicants, and you need to be aware of those, and also be aware of the polytechnics within the country that are offering these certifications as well. Another thing you need to be aware of is the breakdown of the budget, what you need to prepare for in advance. I'm talking about in advance even before you make your application. So remember, you need a breakdown of the budget and the typical expected cost for flights, visas, and maintenance. We'll discuss this so that by the time you're applying for the job, you're aware and you start planning early. And also, if you have any other specific questions that you may not have covered, you'll have the opportunity to talk one-on-one with us, and we will cover all of your questions in depth. All right? So go ahead, book a consultation, and let us know how we can help you. All right. So thank you very much. That's all for now.
So that's it about the seasonal worker visa. So I'll leave the links to the different agencies that I mentioned, and if you're not Kenyan and you're from one of the other countries that are also being recruited for the program, you can access the links to the agencies that are responsible for your own country. You must always do as much research as possible before you make the application to make sure that you're following all the instructions. And aside from just submitting your application and your CV, you also must make some arrangements in terms of budgeting, because the recruiters will not pay for your flight or visa cost. So you have to have in mind that you need to prepare some money for your flights in case you're offered a job. You also need to put aside money for the visa, and the visa is £298. So you convert that to your local currency and keep that in mind. When you're starting the application process, you shouldn't be in a position where when you're offered a job is when you're scampering around to find money for your flights and for your visa and for your personal maintenance, all right? So you need to have this already set before you even start exploring this option. Another thing is there are basic certifications that you need, not necessarily degrees or diplomas, just certifications that you should have in order to boost your chances of being recruited. Remember, thousands apply, but only a few get recruited. So you don't want to be among the thousands who apply and not among the few who get recruited. So there are basic certifications that you need. And also, if you're applying from Kenya, remember you cannot apply directly. This is a government initiative, so you need to follow the local rules in terms of going through the government approved local recruiter. So all this information and more, as well as additional questions that you may have, we can cover in a one-on-one consultation. So if you have more questions for me, you can ask them down below in the comment section, and also you can book a one-on-one consultation with us, and we'll guide you through how you should prepare and the kind of documents that you should set ready if you're looking to explore this option, as well as guide you through the process you should follow as a Kenyan or wherever you are from. So yes, that's all for today, and I hope many of you who would like to explore this option will do so. Remember, this is a visa that allows you to have a glimpse into the kind of life you'd expect working in the UK. If you're someone who would want to work in the UK at some point, but maybe you're still not sure and you want to kind of just get a feel of the environment while working a temporary job, this is a good opportunity for you to go and work for 6 months in the UK, make some money on the side, experience the culture, very vibrant culture and the people, and also just get a sense of the country. Remember to subscribe, like, and share with your network. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.